All right, we are recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first Scandalous Sunday story time. I'm Liv. I'm a pleasure coach, and I help women reclaim their pleasure in their bodies and in their lives. And this is Cambria.
I'm Cambria, and I am just here for the stories and the and the bites, and just because I have no filter, so and I like talking about this stuff.
So we have been friends for, I think, 15 years, close to 15 years at this point. And Cambria back in college would sit and read Cosmo stories to us as like little bedtime stories, essentially. So this series was inspired from that, and it kind of took a life of its own.
Love me a good red hot read and
I know.
Beer in my hand.
It's perfect college. But yeah, our goal with this is to just really talk about the things that we all want to know, that we all want to talk with our girlfriends, but we tend to not because they're considered taboo or scandalous. So we are going to really dive into everything with no filters in this series here.
I'm gonna make me a margarita.
For the record, we're filming this on a Friday night, pre-recorded.
Can't have a Friday night without a margarita. It's almost like I'm a dog or something. Or I don't even know what it is. Like, you know, you need a treat. This is my treat.
Your treat. You did just get off work.
I did get off of work.
I've got my little kombucha over here in a wine glass. So
yours sounds good. I'm terrible. I have been told I'm a lush, but and I appreciate that. I am a lush. I don't care. I need more tea.
And we love you for it. I love that you're making this margarita just like you just know exactly how to make it right there.
Yeah, I just like
Pro.
There's no rest. There's no things. I just eyeball it and just like pour as much stuff in it, and then I'm like, oh, it tastes good. So
I feel like I'm watching a pro right now. Oh, see, there you go. And you learn how to make amazing drinks at the same time. So you'll learn all about your pleasure, all about sex, all about orgasms, and how to make drinks.
And yeah, learn how to make a cocktail while you're at it. I feel like that's like the perfect combination. It's like maybe a little bit.
I love it. It's perfect. So our topic this week is, and we'll kind of always have an overarching topic, just so that Cambria and I have some structure, because we could probably just go in all directions if we were just left on our own. But this week we're really talking about why all of this is so scandalous, why we don't as women talk to each other about sex, about pleasure, about orgasms. I think for a lot of women, it's this like taboo thing. You don't really talk about masturbation, or, you know, generally for most people, for most women.
I don't talk about it. I'm a lady, obviously. Right?
Perfect lady.
About that and going to the bathroom. Those are two not topics that I'm going to talk about.
Ironically, two of the topics that I talk the most about in my dates.
Oh, great.
But it is, and I feel like, you know, we are in a friend group that's pretty open, and like there's not really any secrets within our friend group, but even then we just don't really talk about it. And I think it's because there's just so much shame put on women enjoying pleasure. There's this idea that, you know, we always talk about men and their sex craze and all this stuff, but women are supposed to be good girls and not talk about sex, not talk about getting pleasure. So many of my clients will come in and be like, wait, sex isn't supposed to hurt, or, oh, I'm one of those women that can't orgasm, which is false. Everybody can orgasm. It's just that you haven't figured out how to orgasm. So it's a pretty big topic.
Yeah. I mean, like, I always think of like, I'm Samantha from Sex and the City. I'm gonna find my orgasm.
Yes. Yes.
I'm every time when what was it, Charlotte, and she goes like, I can't orgasm or something, and she was like, what? How did you lose it? Or
How did you lose it? But that's one of the things though, is that orgasms, we think we should just know how to do it, but orgasms are actually a skill that you need to learn, because you need to learn how your body responds, and then as you go through life, what your body responds to can change. And a lot of women don't realize that, same as like any new skill, at the beginning orgasms will be like almost more mild. You might not notice them as much, and then as you get to know your body, as you essentially grow your skill of being able to create pleasure in your body, that's when orgasms get to take kind of that life of their own, that full body experience.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think I really even knew anything about it really until I was in my 30s, or like, you know, a little bit older and a little bit more experienced. Like, just, I don't think I really knew anything in my 20s.
Yeah. None of us do. I mean, I have women that come and they're figuring this stuff out in their 50s and 60s, you know. So the fact that
is like extra repressed. I'm definitely like happy that I'm not that repressed. But I mean, even still, like in like, you know, early 20s and everything like that, like I feel like you're still trying to figure your shit out. And I think when you start getting more of a sense of yourself, then you can maybe find it. I feel like that's probably more for me and my personal, but I think when I finally figured out who I was like, okay. And then it became more enjoyable. But in my 20s, I just couldn't figure shit out really. It was just like, especially early 20s when you're just starting out. Like, for me, at least, I was a late bloomer, and I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I think it's there is a confidence within being able to give yourself pleasure, or like ask for what you need in the bedroom. And it is, for a lot of us in the 20s, we're definitely figuring ourselves out, figuring out who we are, and there's a lot of us are still kind of trying to fit in with everybody else around us, and that perfectly correlates to who you are kind of within your body. And that's, I mean, with masturbation is huge, especially in the 20s. And then if you're in dorms and sharing rooms and stuff like that, it's a little bit harder. But I do think that women tend to like start to learn about masturbation more in their 30s, kind of generally. And that's when you start to really get to know your body. You can start to get to gain that confidence within yourself and figure out what you like, figuring out how to give it to yourself, and then figuring out how to ask for it. Because I think in your 20s, you're just like, do whatever you want to do. And you're not really, you tend to not speak up for what you want.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. You're really shy about like saying what you need, which I think is crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because I think, especially as women, and this is totally a stereotype, but we tend to be givers. We tend to want to people please more. And so you don't want to hurt your partner's feelings because you're telling them what you want and what you don't want. You're just kind of giving the power over to your partner a lot of times. And so gaining that power back is empowering for yourself and for your partner too, because hopefully your partner wants to turn you on, right? And give you orgasms and all of that. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Yeah. I have a question on Reddit that I saw.
Okay, go for it.
Hit me. Ask you about it because it's kind of like talking about like what, or it was kind of into what we were talking about. And she was like, she can't orgasm solo anymore. So she's with a partner, he's great in bed, and she can orgasm with him all the time, but like when it's by herself, she can't find it. She lost it. And she's just like very confused, and she's just wondering suggestions. And I see some random, well, first of all, I see a bunch of comments about people like, I feel you, girl, which is not helpful when at all.
Unity, community over here.
Either, like, and I was just like, don't even write that. Like, if somebody's like really like, I'm trying to figure this out, like saying I feel you.
Give something constructive.
Not what I'm here for. I'm not here for people to like, like relate to me. I don't want to be. I want the answers. But then like the people are just like, oh, watch porn or something like that, which I don't even know if that's a really like good answer, or I don't know. It's just like, it was just random things like that people were saying, and some people were giving like tips on products you can buy or whatever. But I don't even think that even really is helpful either. Like,
yeah.
Because I was like, I can't write anything because I don't know anything about that. It's like, I just felt like I'm the one of the people that I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry
that you're feeling that way. That sucks.
Sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, I mean that's a big question, because your turn-ons can change as you go through life. And so especially if she already knew, like if she was orgasming like with masturbation, that solo pleasure, and then got into a relationship and now no longer can, I would explore what the emotional difference is for that. Because a lot of times our mental state is very much reflected in our pelvic bowl area. So when we're stressed, it tends to tighten up. When we're nice and relaxed and happy, it's nice and relaxed and happy. So it's very much a feedback of where we are emotionally. So I would say explore what changed. How is she feeling about herself and her power within herself? Does she have insecurities about herself, or does she feel like she's, sacrificed herself for her partner? I think those are interesting things to explore. And it also could just be that her tastes are changing, and that she's needing new things in her life. And that's where, like porn products, all that, there's no shame in any of that. But a big thing is figuring out, everybody's got their different turn-ons. Some people are very visual, some people are very auditory. That's where like those erotic audiobooks are really fantastic. Some people really like to, like read and like visualize. So figuring out what kind of sense really works well for you helps with that as well. And then, sorry for the noise. But and then products are great too. I love, like products, but especially if it's fun to play around and see if there's, like a vibrator that's working, and be curious about it. The big thing about that is just making sure that you don't numb out. A lot of women, we feel like we have to get in and get out, essentially. And women's bodies generally take a lot longer to orgasm, and a lot of women give up before that state. Yeah.
Because we don't have time.
We don't have time.
We're all so busy.
Don't have time for that.
It's like needs to happen quickly now.
well, and there's an expectation too, right? Because again, it like sexuality has been studied a lot from the male side of everything, and so there's this expectation that it should happen like super quickly. And the same with turn-ons. If men can turn on a little bit quicker, women tend to have to be seduced and wooed. Which in this case, for this woman, that might be the case, that she is just not really seducing and wooing herself in her like solo practice. So yeah.
Interesting. It's like turn the candles on, turn the music on.
Yeah. I feel like we don't seduce ourselves enough. Like we're all these beautiful goddesses.
Seduce ourselves. Like I don't even think I really like know what that is. Like I love me some candles. I love me some nice
Yeah.
music. I don't know if that's necessarily like seducing myself.
That is, or even like giving yourself, like putting up like making a bath and putting candles up. And I like get a little intense about it, but you can like put rose petals in the bathtub or like
you do that?
fancy. Yeah, it's fun. Trust me, if you ever want to feel like a goddess.
Like I tell myself I'm gonna take a bath finally, I'm gonna do it. I don't think I've taken one bath and I don't even think I really enjoyed it.
You know what's funny though is I went years with like being like, I don't understand why people love baths. Exactly like you just said. I just did not get it. And then when I really started to create pleasure practices and giving myself permission to really have pleasure in my life, that's when I started to really enjoy baths. And now, like the other day, I worked from the bathtub in the middle of the day because it was awesome. Because I can. But I think it is a little this idea of giving yourself permission to give yourself pleasure and again like seduce yourself in that way. Okay. I'm gonna give you that homework. I'm gonna make you take a bath.
I'm
like a bubble bath.
So report back next week on how my bath went.
Yeah. How did the seducing of yourself go?
I know. I was like, everybody knows like I'm obsessed with like candles, so I definitely have enough candles to like to make it a nice mood, and I definitely have a speaker and like that I can put in there and like do it. It's just like that. I think it's just like even just making the time to do it is probably like I was like I don't know.
That's the hard. I think that's the biggest part for most women is we're like, oh, we don't have time for that, like for pleasure for ourselves kind of thing. And we try to get through things pretty quickly. But you gotta give yourself pleasure.
I do have another thing. I saw I was like looking through some stuff and I wanted to ask you like just a little speed round.
Okay, go for it.
What like there's a lot of like products and tips that they say like give you pleasure, and also you can definitely add in what you think, but I just wanted to it's like this speed round on like products and stuff that like increase pleasure. I just want to ask you, do you think this thing helps or doesn't help?
Okay.
And I'm gonna start with like the most mild and maybe ratchet up a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay, I like it.
Okay. Go for it. So yes or no, and just like a short little blurb on what you think of these, like meditation. Do you yes to meditation? Okay.
Yes, because it helps you become present to yourself and quiet your thoughts, and women need to really be present within themselves to be able to orgasm.
So meditation, yes. Okay. Regular exercise.
It can, yeah. It helps increase blood flow. So I could see that, absolutely. And just confidence in yourself. If you love yourself, and if you're happy with yourself, then that definitely can, for sure.
Okay. So that's like meh.
It depends. I mean, that's the thing with sex, right? And pleasure is it looks so different for each person. So
okay. Vitamin supplements.
I don't know. I guess if they're helping you feel more energized, but like specific supplements to help with pleasure or anything, not really.
Like, they were naming like certain supplements that like could possibly help, but it seemed weird. But
yeah, and I mean, I don't know anything. I'm open to if anybody in the comments is like, hey, there are these things. But as far as I know, I mean, if you're feeling better in general day-to-day life, then that definitely moves over. But I don't think so. Not that I know.
Okay. Okay. Massage candles. We just talked about that.
I love massage candles. I actually give for all of my one-on-one coaching clients, I give them a little welcome gift box because women are really bad at receiving presents. And so it starts with a present and learning to take pleasure. But I actually include a little massage candle or like a lotion candle, which is amazing. And so yeah, I like the idea of massage candles. They definitely can because it adds some different sensations. It can be very sensual. Even if you're using it yourself, just kind of taking care of yourself and adding kind of that touch within your body. So yeah.
Okay. Arousal pills. Have you ever heard of those?
Oh, no. I think that's probably like in that supplement thing. No, I have not heard of arousal pills. So, but I'm usually just figure out what turns you on and tune into kind of what's going on emotionally. And you don't need those arousal pills.
Okay, and I see this a lot, yoni eggs.
Oh yeah, yoni eggs are great. They can help to strengthen the pelvic floor muscles. You want to be careful with yoni eggs though, because for a lot of women, we actually have very tight pelvic floors. And so because of just like the stress of life and our lifestyles these days. So if you're using a yoni egg and you have a tight pelvic floor, all it does is make it tighter and start to cause pain. So you want to make sure that you don't have a tight pelvic floor. But then if everything's relaxed, you know how to fully relax that part of your body, really connect to your room space, then yeah, yoni eggs are awesome because they help to strengthen. And there's something really, you can, even like when they're in, you can kind of dance and get some fun sensations with it.
So. Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, do you just like insert it and then just go about your day? Like, I'm just gonna go to work with a yoni egg in my vagina, or do you just like lay around and it's like for a leisure thing? Like, because I've seen them around and I've seen people kind of talk about them, but I've never really got into them. But I like saw an interview with one actress and she was like talking about the yoni eggs and she was in the middle of like interview with like Conan O'Brien and had a yoni egg, like, and she was just like with rose quartz or something. And I was like, wait, what?
Oh yeah. I love the crystals because crystals do have that energy, and you can infuse crystals with intention and make it more of a sacred practice. I wouldn't wear it for very long. I would say maybe 10 minutes, because at some point, if you're constantly clenching, it's the same as like if you're holding a weight for like all day long, at some point your like muscles are going to tire out and tense up and just get really angry and irritated at you. So it's, you should think about it as almost like a weight if you are using it just to strengthen. So if you're wearing it, I wouldn't wear it more than like 5-10 minutes.
Okay, then I guess that kind of goes into the other one I found, Kegel balls. I don't know, I've heard it at the place, but yeah. They're like kind of similar.
Yeah, they're essentially the same thing. So for anyone that doesn't know, my background actually is in pelvic floor PT. And so Kegel balls are more kind of that, like the clinical version of it, whereas the yoni eggs are more kind of a spiritual practice. Yoni eggs a lot of times are made from crystals, which gives you that extra bit of sacred practice, that intention that you're opening up. Jade eggs are huge because jade is abundance. So there's that idea of working within the jade and the your womb space, which is actually, so within the sacral chakra, it's actually where our financial abundance comes from as well. So it's almost like creating this like amazing force, and it's supposed to help you manifest more money into your life.
Oh, really? Okay. We're going to have to talk about that off camera because I need the money.
I'll send you a jade yoni egg.
Yes, or 10 minutes a day and I get like, I have extra $10,000 in my bank account. I can do that. Okay, sorry. Veering off. Okay, and then
I love it.
all right, CBD oil or like suppositories. I've seen both, like CBD oil, CBD suppositories. I saw that on, and I was very like, okay, interesting.
Yeah, I love CBD. There's a brand called Foria Wellness that I actually recommend a lot. I actually, again, in my welcome gift box, I put a little spray. It's a Foria CBD spray. It's called Awakening. And it's really fun. So it can actually increase pleasure. It's almost like a little lubricant thing. And so it definitely, I love Foria Awakening and CBD stuff. It's amazing.
Okay. And I can buy that here in Texas. So we got CBD shops.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not illegal if you send it to me.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can just go to their online shop. And there's probably other brands out there that are just as amazing, but Foria is the one that I've really fallen in love with. But yeah, you just go to their online shop and you can order it because there's no THC in there. So you can just order it online.
Erotic literature is probably my last one.
Yeah, so this goes back to that idea of figuring out which senses arouse you. So for some women, erotic literature, like romance novels, are like where it's at. And some women will read it and be like, no, not interested, because they're more a visual or auditory. So that one that just depends on each person.
You can get an audiobook of it if you want to.
Exactly, yeah.
Depends on if it's a good narrator. Like obviously I don't want to hear a sex scene from somebody who's like monotone. Like that's not
that's not a turn on.
No. Like, a lot of like audiobooks are just like monotone and it's just like I'm gonna fall asleep right here.
Yeah, you just like zonk out. Some weird dreams with that one.
So yeah, don't like that. Okay, that was my last one. So that's good.
Yay.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, and so I think we'll wrap it up here. We're gonna start to bring this on live at some point here and allow time for our questions and stuff. But if you have any questions, comments, would love to hear it. Post it in the comments section and we'll try to respond. Or if you've got topic suggestions, if there's something that you really want to hear us talk about or things that you really want to know about, let us know. And then I actually also have a workshop coming up on Thursday that is all about orgasms. So we'll dive into a lot of this so much more. We'll talk about all the different types of orgasms, how to learn how to have orgasms, and just really dive into it and talk about all of the things that everybody's too scared to talk about. So, and we'll go into yoni eggs and crystal wands more too as well.
It's a good class.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be I'm so excited for this class. But the link is in my bio if you want to sign up. It's going to be amazing. And if you can't make it live, it will be recorded as well. So,
all right.
Well, we will see you guys next Sunday.